Hi, we're going to continue 1.1 notes. So this is the second page or the back page of 1.1 notes. We're going to begin to look at perfect squares and square roots and perfect cubes and cube roots. You need to begin learning each of these three. Squares of numbers, you need to know 1 squared to 15 squared, what each of these are equal to. Square roots of numbers, same thing, from 1 to 15. Square root of 1 is 1, square root of 225 is 15. You need to begin learning these. Perfect cubes and cube roots. Begin learning the cube roots all the way to 10 and the cubes from 1 to 10 as well. So begin learning these. This will help you whenever you're simplifying. You'll be able to get through a step much quicker. You won't have to rely on the calculator as much if you can begin learning the perfect squares, square roots, perfect cubes, and cube roots. So begin learning those. All right, we're going to focus on order of operation problems today. And we're going to do that as a review using GEMS. Grouping, exponents, multiplication and division from left to right, add and subtract from left to right. So what you did was to take notes on what each of the steps look like, grouping symbols, exponents, multiply, divide, left to right, very important. The S, subtract and add, left to right. So let's work through some examples. So for G on problem 1, there's no grouping, but we do have exponents. So 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. Everything else just comes down. All right, we have multiplication and addition. Multiplication comes first. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. And notice that I took one step at a time. One step at a time. All right, problem 2. Grouping. You have absolute value. Negative 4 times 2 is the absolute value of negative 8. Another grouping, 3 minus 4, is negative 1. All right, the absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8, plus negative 1 is minus 1. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Number 3, G, grouping, GEMS. 1/6, parentheses. Inside of this group, exponents or multiplication first. Exponents would come before multiplication. So 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Bring down the times 3, minus 2 squared. You still have a group, you're multiplying. 8 times 3 is 24. Everything else comes down. All right, no more groups. When you have two things side by side, that means to multiply. So there's no more grouping, but we do have exponents. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. Multiplication or subtraction, the multiplying comes next. 1/6 times 24 is 4 minus 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Problem 4, we have a lot of grouping symbols. So we're going to go to the inside first. So we have braces, brackets, parentheses. So we're going to start inside. I'm going to bring everything down that I'm not using at the moment. All right. 15 squared, 15 times 15 is 225. 5 cubed, 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Everything I'm not using, I bring down. Still have grouping. Work your way inside. So this part is next. $225 minus 125 is 100. Divided by 10. All right, we have exponents next. 2 squared is 4. Everything else is just going to come straight down. Multiplication, subtraction, or division. You go left to right with multiplying and dividing. So 4 times 5 is 20. I'll just go ahead and make another step here. 20 minus 100 divided by 10 is 10. 8 times 20 minus 10 is 10. 8 times 10 is 80. So when you're working order of operation problems with a lot of grouping symbols, you work your way to the inside. Question 5. Gems. Grouping. More than one grouping symbol, so work your way to the inside. Bringing everything else that I'm not using right now down. 4 minus 3 is 1. That difference is squared. Work your way to the inside. Here, 1 squared is 1. Working your way to the inside. 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 16 plus 2 is 18. 2 times 18 is 36. Number 6. You have a fraction. And your grouping symbols is where we find the fraction. So we're going to work with it first. So I'm going to work on the numerator first. 18 plus 3 squared. You're going to do your exponents first. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. Denominator, you have grouping. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Back to the fraction. Numerator, 18 plus 9. Denominator, 4 plus negative 1. Reduce the fraction, 27 divided by 3. And 6 plus 9 is 15. Number 7. Gems. Grouping symbols first. More than one, so work your way to the inside. Everything else comes down. 2 plus 3 is 5. of that. All right, then inside the grouping, you have 15 minus 5 is 10. Everything you haven't used comes straight down. No more grouping, but we do have exponents. 10 cubed. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. Multiplication, 1/10 times 100, or 1/10 times 1,000 is 100. All right, number 8. Gems, the grouping. So we have a fraction. Let's work with it first. Absolute value, 8 minus 12 is -4. Denominator, grouping. 7 minus 9 is -2. That's in absolute value symbols. And we go back to grouping. We have the absolute value. Absolute value of -4 is 4. 3 minus the absolute value of -2 is 2, plus 3 cubed. Finish the fraction, 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 divided by 1 is 4. No more grouping, but you have exponents, 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And 4 plus 27 is 31. So go back and look at these problems. Any questions that you have, we'll talk about these on Wednesday. Don't be afraid to ask a question on Wednesday if you need any kind of help, and we can practice some more of these in class if we need to. Hope each of you have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow.